Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Oh my goodness, it is springtime in the Rockies. You know what that means? Yeah, we got snow flurries. That's what that means. Yeah. Yes, it is so cold. We had like a 40-degree drop from yesterday to today. I know this is not a weather channel. This is yarn and knitting and crocheting and all that wonderful stuff. But when you get a 40-degree drop and you're going back and forth to work and doing all this stuff and you're like, I don't need no jacket, and then you get that drop, it smacks you in the face. It does. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep my little jackety thing on, even in the house, we're good. But yeah, that's what's going on at the moment. It's a little chilly, so it's time to do some comfort stuff. And I have a lot of projects in the works. I really do. Yeah, if you've been here for a while, you know that. I really do start a lot of things. And then the crazy part is, there are times instead of just picking up what I already have started, I kind of do that little mental thing. It's like, all right, what have I worked on? What have I not worked on? Where is that project at? Can I easily pick it up and work on it? Or do I have to, manipulate it, figure out where I am, didn't write any good notes or what have you, that type of stuff, right? So when that happens, I just start something new. I do. I know some of you are with me. I know it's true. Some of you do the same thing. Do you remember this little guy? Do you remember this? Oh my gosh, this little hippo that I made for my husband, and a little tail. And you're like, well, why did you make that color? If you're new here, you don't know that. Why did you make that color? I used this pattern. And look, come on, they've got the little green one and everything. They've got the little pastel ones. And I just thought it was so adorable. What's the name of this book? Crochet Animal Safari Animal Amigurumi Patterns. I'll link the book down below. I originally got this when I had one of those Kindle Unlimited subscriptions, but it's a little pricey if you're not using it a whole bunch. I got the whole, it was like 2 months free type of a thing. So I used it and then I kept it for another month or so. But I liked the book so much that I ended up purchasing the book anyway. When I got it, it was a digital download for $2.99. Your mileage may vary, but that's what I ended up getting it as. I thought the pattern was cute enough. I wanted to have it. There are a couple other little patterns in that book that I thought were adorable. Haven't made, but I did think they were adorable. But I love this. So while I was sitting there, it's like, well, what do I want to work on? And I was there and I had lavender yarn next to me. And I mean, hello, we have a lavender one right there. I'm like, I have to do it. I have to. Oh, where'd it go? I had it. I had a head. I lost the head. One moment. I'm gonna go find the head. Okay, I got the head. What? There we go. And this was made out of some very vintage yarn that I got at the Mystery Yarn Challenge. And it was gifted to me. And I thought this was just adorable. And again, the color had to do it. And this is Big Twist Value. I don't know what size needle I used on this. I don't remember. This one I'm using a size G. Look at that. So I got the big one and the littler one. But I do have a head. So, all right, I found the head. You can't go around losing your head. That's just wrong. Don't go losing your head. Keep your head attached where it belongs. So I have a little lavender one. I put on really big safety eyes. They've got that clear around the black. And I thought that was kind of nice. And I do have plenty of those that are big enough. So I continue to work on it. No, it's not done, obviously. I mean, I had to go find the head. I did get, look at this. I got the arms done. So I'm working on it. I am actively working on it. It's not, if I don't do the amigurumi things relatively quickly, they don't get done. They can stall for a while. It's either for me, for the little things like that, it has to be that flurry of, oh my gosh, I want to make that so bad and I want that project, and then it'll get done. But if I set it down with all those little pieces and stuff, yeah, and look at this. I have ears. I have ears. These are cute. Okay, where do they go? So I have to tack those down, just like I did on the other one. Oh, see, now you can see it, can't you? I mean, this pattern could be just about anything depending on what type of ears you want. You could turn it into a dinosaur. You could flatten it into a platypus. I mean, all sorts of things. But look at that. Oh my gosh. Those ears, tiny little things, just cute little circles, just a little couple stitches on the edges and, you know, making that shape, right? Those really make it. So I'm getting my parts and pieces done. I have a head, I have ears, I started the body, and I twisted it or something, and I'm just leaving it. It's gonna be fine. It'll block out. It would be fine. So here's part of the body. And you know, normally you can see on this little one right here, let me pull it back. Those legs are pretty straight up and down, no issues right there. They don't look like I'm, you know, pulling them anyway. I did like a, look at the way the legs want to go. So when I started crocheting around, I must have twisted them and kind of did like a little bit of a Mobius or something. And I'm going with it. As you can tell, I'm just like, each round I'm like, it'll flatten, it'll black out, it'll be fine. Yeah, I put some stuffing in there and I think it will be fine. But it was really funny because they are very distinct, wanting to kick in opposite directions. And I thought, you know what? Even if it does stuff funny, it'll be cute. You know what I mean? It'll be cute. It'll be like one's kicking, you know, one leg is kicking up. So I've got about half the body, and if memory serves me, I don't even have to sew these on. You get up to this part, the neck part, and you crochet it in. So I'm going to have the two sizes. I'll have the purple one, the lavender one, and then this one, everything, and they'll be different sizes. And that's just because different yarn and probably different needles. It's an amigurumi. I mean, does it really matter? As long as the stuffing doesn't stick out, it doesn't matter. This is softer. So I believe I did use a bigger hook on it, or it's partly because this is, like I said, a very vintage yarn. And you know how some of the vintage yarn was a little tough? And this was one of them. And it will, you know what? It will be there for my great-grandchildren if it doesn't get destroyed before then. I'm just saying, this is the type of yarn that will be there forever. I bet this skein's probably, or this partial that I received was probably around 20 years old as it is. You know, I mean, it had to be made into something, right? You can't just let that sit around. So I got that. So I got the body and I got this. So the body's about half done. Okay, did I lose the ears? I've done that before. I've shown pieces for like little amigurumis and parts before, and I swear they disappeared. I mean, there's a lot of nooks and crannies in my room, I get it. But I mean, I literally showed it to you on camera, set it down. I've got this little hexagon table that the tripod-y thing is sitting on, and setting there. Now, granted, it's pretty piled. It's not a big table. It's like a little end table type thing. And it disappeared. I don't know. I had to make another one. I did. But those ears are tiny. They're easy. They're fast. It's 2 rounds. I got this. If I lose an ear, not a big deal. Just not a real ear. That would be bad. So there I am with that. So do you want to know how my mind works for crafting? Do you really want to go there? Or is that just like better left unsaid? Is that one of those things that you probably don't really want to know about? And some secrets are just better left, you know, alone. All right. So I started the hippopotamus and I'm like, okay, that's good. And then I had to stuff it and I was like, what do I want to do with the body? So I was thinking, all right, I'll get on here and I'll show the parts and the pieces like that. And they're not done yet. And then I'll finish the body and sew it together and, you know, do like a multi-part little video where you can see that. And, you know, you've got, hey, you know, I've got so much farther to go. And then, you know, like a minute later, it'll be an hour or 2 hours for me or whatever, but it'll only be a few seconds for you. And then I pop back on and go, ta-da, I did it. Because I like to do that. And yeah, that's where I was going with this. Yeah, it's not happening. So it was gonna happen. It was really cool in my head. It was. I was in my head. I was going to go ahead and set up the tripod and what have you and do like a tutorial type thing and sewing it all together. But I really do need a chair for the desk downstairs so I can do that. You know, I've got the space, but that's another story. So that's where this was going. Well, then I got sidetracked because I don't have a chair. And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you give a mouse cookie and then you have to do all these other things, right? That's where I was going with that. So I worked on that and I came into my yarn room. I'm like, all right, well, if I don't have that at the moment, and I got sidetracked with flowers. I know. Let me look at flower patterns because I'm making a blanket and I'm embellishing with flowers. You're like, what does that have to do with the hippo? Absolutely not. This is how my mind works. It has nothing to do with the hippo at all. This is just where my head goes. I'm like, okay, I want to do some flowers. So I grabbed my book, that 100 knit and crochet embellishments. There's a ton of books like that out there. You can Google that. You can find the one that I used. It doesn't really matter. Make one up in your head. That's fine. So I'm flipping through that for inspiration because why would I want to use one of the 100 patterns I have sitting in front of me? That's crazy talk. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I could do one of like a little stuffed flower, one of the flower babies, which I showed this book before, and I've made at least half a dozen to a dozen. I think I've made a dozen of those since I bought the book. And you know, I don't think I have any. I might, the kids might have not taken all of them, but most of them I gave away. That's what I do. And you know, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do that. I want to do a flower baby because I'm doing this flower themed type blanket. And I thought a little stuffed thing would be kind of fun to do with that. What did I do with the other head? I keep losing, oh, there it is. I keep losing my head. So here's the head to the flower baby, right? And this is all going to connect. Kind of. It will. It really will. Honest, it's going to. So here's the head. And this is a worsted weight yarn. It's, it might be Red Heart Super Saver. I'm not sure. It's definitely value acrylic and it's thicker than the Joanne Big Twist. So it's definitely a thicker one to use, but I still used that G hook. And that is pretty dense. That was a little bit rough to go ahead and get through. I probably should have gone up a hook size just for my wrists, and that is why I'm not going to be doing the other video and everything, because this right here, it tweaked my wrist a little bit and everything, you know, kind of like right through here. I'm like, okay, well, it's talking to me. I'm going to leave it alone. So tonight, if I continue on doing crafting, I'll work on knitting. If it hurts, I'll just pet the yarn and plan and work on some other things. But that's how this connects. So I was working on the flower baby head, which, as you can see, it really is, right? That's what it is. So I was trying to do that and put in the little eyeballs and stuff. And yeah, it's like just right here, just a little bit. I don't have carpal tunnel. I don't have anything else as far as that goes. But if something like that says, hi, I'm here, it's a good idea to leave it alone. It's a good idea to take that break, step away from the needles, step away from the hooks, set the stuff down. It'll be there. You don't want to injure yourself. You don't want to do any actual real damage or anything like that. Obviously, I tweaked it, so I have a head. So this is why I have pieces, and this is why, unfortunately, I don't get to do what I wanted to do because I'm not going to push it. It's not worth it. So I have a couple of heads, and you know, this right here, if you think about it, this is a blank slate too, especially this one. Definitely a blank slate because, like I said, depending on the ears you put on here, oh, I'm turning it into a hippo, but depending on the ears really changes what the animal is. It is crazy how something so small like that will make a difference. And then of course with this, we know this is a serious blank canvas. You can do all sorts of crazy things. I mean, obviously I'm gonna do the flower baby type thing, but you can do all sorts of things like with this thing. This is one of the Imkins. You know, it's like, oh, well, I have a head. What type of body? What type of arms? What type of, do I want a tail? Do I want a top hat? Right? That's what I mean by blank slate. So I have a lot of options coming up for the head. Do we have any recommendations for which flower hat to put on? I don't know. I've done quite a few of them. I really have. We know I did the orange one. I mean, hello, of course I did the orange one. And I've done the carnation. The rose was really nice. The rose right there, that was really pretty too. So I've done quite a few of them. Not sure where I'm going to go with this one. The idea that I had in my head anyway would require me to grab out my fingering weight yarn, which I do have some of the fingering weight yarn in this color, and make one like that. And I have made quite a few in the past, but again, I don't have it anymore because, well, I keep things away. And when you do it with the smaller yarn, they're about that big. Absolutely adorable. And you know, you can use them for keychains or whatever you want to use them for. So this one will be obviously a bit bigger, and we'll see where all that goes. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing if his leg sticks out a little bit when I stuff it. But unfortunately, I don't get to find out tonight because I'm gonna let things rest. And maybe well, what knitting project should I start with? Should I start something new? Oh, I can't. I've got a lot of stuff, and I'm kind of wanting to start a new larger project, but I have so many on the needles at the moment that are all in different positions, different states of being finished. You know, I've got some smaller things too, don't I? I don't think I do. Do I have smaller things going on that I admit to? Yeah, that's another story. I don't know. I'll come up with something to keep myself busy and occupied while we're hanging out, while hubby and I are hanging out together and just enjoying each other's company. But anyway, I wanted to pop on, and I wanted to tell you that, and I wanted to tell you all of my wonderful, fanciful ideas. I'm telling you, in my head, my filming techniques are the bomb. In reality, that's another story. But in my head, man, I can do all sorts of things and editing and what you've been around. I don't do that. I don't. But I've got some ideas. Or like when I'm showing a picture or showing a project, instead of just holding it up like, hey, look, I did a hippo. Isn't it cute? Right? Because it is adorable. You know, instead of just doing it just like that, you know, doing the camera lens and kind of going down on it and everything and around and showing angles and things. Yeah, in my head, it's gorgeous, but I've not been able to execute on that. I don't know. Maybe I should take a class. Maybe I should do something like that. But then that would take away from my crafting time. And yeah, I like the crafting time a lot. Yeah, making things is more fun than that, right? Yep, so there we go. It needed a friend. You know, sometimes we need a friend. We just do. We just need friends. I just find it humorous in my own way. This one's my husband's. You know, this is his. This one will be mine, and mine's bigger. That's okay. That's okay. I'll tease him anyway. All right, everybody. With that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.